I mean, one of the things about art is, there's a lot of elitism in the art world, and a lot of people feel like they're not qualified to participate in the conversation. I'm a populist. I definitely believe that art should be as democratic as possible, and there's a perfect example of how it can work, which is music. You've got music where, if it's an appealing tune, good melody, whatever, people don't say, no, you're not allowed to like the Beatles because you don't have the right resume. You can go to the right art school. You don't eat cheese and drink wine with the right people. It's very inclusive. Yet it can be deep in its messages, its content. Because there's the lyrics, there's the personal politics of the way that musicians conduct their lives, and people like Black Flag, Public Enemy, The Clash, Bob Dylan, Neil Young. There's a lot of people who I think have like Chuck D says, reached the bourgeois and dropped the boulevard. And that's what I really like. First of all, I really enjoy music, so I love putting music references into my work. You could say, I'm hijacking the euphoric association with this musician and their music. People see a picture and it conjures something that they have. They're gonna Pavlovian. They're gonna drool a little. They're excited. They love it. That's great. If I can, when I first started, a lot of times I would change pop culture figures into. I would put some Andre the Giant image in it, and it's like, yeah, this person doesn't like Andre the Giant, but they like Kiss. So I put Andre the Giant in Kiss's makeup, and all of a sudden now they like Andre the Giant because they have to. Because they can't reject Kiss. They're amazing. But anyway, so a lot of this wasn't so calculated. It was a little more just intuitive. But a lot of what can be great about art can be that sort of gut reaction, the feeling it gives you, rather than this sort of hyper intellectual analysis that's exhausting, totally exhausting. So. And unrealistic for most people to take in art in such a rigorous way. It just doesn't fit into their lives. So that's where the approach that music takes really fits into how I approach art, visual art.
We were having a conversation once, and you speaking about lyrics,
right?
And we were talking about the fuel that, and you mentioned anger is an energy, and I really like that because you don't strike me as an angry guy, but something's fueling your activity. I mean, you distributed over 10 million stickers in 20 years, countless posters, T-shirts all over the world. I mean, what drives it?
Well, there definitely have been some things I've been pissed off about, but but it's no. I think it's this idea that Brian McGinnis and I talked about it. He said fear of death. I guess maybe it's the same thing. When you get it down to a basic level of just a really simple, what's the meaning of life sort of thing. Like, you're here. Are you going to be, a passive recipient of food and oxygen and whatever else is thrown your way, or are you going to try to make it mean something? And for me, the full spectrum of my needs, more or less, are largely addressed through my art, and so my sense of humor, my feeling that I'd like to deal with a lot of social issues or political issues, my desire to make pictures that in and of themselves are rewarding in their process, the problem solving of making a piece of art. I mean, sorry, this could be like the whole rest of the night. We could talk about this, but figuring out ways to address all the things that are important to me in my art. I mean, that's kind of a full-time job. That's very motivating. So, it's weird that I'm motivated because as a kid I was so freaking lazy. All I wanted to do was just the stuff that I wanted to do. So now I think all I did was figure out how to make just the stuff I want to do what I have to do for my job. So, my dad always said, that I was a hedonist, and hedonist, I'm thinking of like, strippers and cocaine or something. What he meant was I just want to do what I want to do, and I remember thinking, well, all you want to do is be a doctor and be a really pompous, self-righteous guy toward me. That's your hedonist, and so it's just how you define hedonism, I guess. But I just don't like to waste time. Also, I'm a type 1 diabetic, and my dad, being, the very, very, he doesn't sugarcoat anything. He said to me the moment I was diagnosed with diabetes when I had just turned 16,
Sugarcoat diabetes.
well, son, you really better start thinking about what you want to do with your life, because it's probably going to be about 20 years shorter than most people. So I think that's always been in the back of my mind.
Absolutely. And that, because you mentioned you're populist, you're self-described populist, and that takes many forms. I mean, it's you're putting work out in public space geographically. Anyone can see your work. It's not just in museums and galleries. The images you use are easy to read. They're common references, and then you've also made it a point to make your imagery accessible. Some of your fine art, as you refer to it, is a little more expensive. The T-shirts, the stickers, all of that is part of who you are. You make it accessible to people. There's a part of your work you make accessible. But these things didn't really. It's not. I mean, I don't want to say it was calculated, but it's also not an accident. I mean, you develop strategies to make your work, to get the work out, and you've never been shy about T-shirts, and you've never been shy about getting arrested. So can you tell us a bit about those strategies?
Well, it gets back to what I was saying before, that art, in my opinion, art shouldn't be just for a very elite group of people. Society in general, I think, benefits from creativity, and I'm not saying society really benefits from my art. I got to make it accessible because I really want to raise the bar for everybody.
But you want everyone to see it.
Well, yeah, whether they want to see it or not, I want to push it on them. So, but the idea of street art in the public, that spaces that's free and visible, and purely by the context it's presented in, calling into question how public space is controlled. But then T-shirts and doing commercial work, album packaging, things where I can cross-pollinate. With if somebody likes Led Zeppelin, and I did Led Zeppelin's album cover, which I did. Which was like definitely an I'm not worthy moment, but
well, I asked you about that, and there is commercial work, that you're not as excited about. But you made it really clear with Led Zeppelin, you were super excited.
Yeah,